Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Carolyn and I am a mama to twin girls named Summer and Winter. And if you have seen any of our travel videos, you'll know that as a family of four, we love to adventure. And that includes road trips, air travel, boat travel. We love all of it. But the thing is that it is the time now to plan out so many things for the summer of 2021 and just in general. I feel like people are always traveling. And I thought I would share a little compilation of all of our top tips from the major road trip that we did last summer with two babies that were 4 months old. And then by the time we got home, they were 5 months old. We did a 4-week-long road trip in our VW van. That's right. And we went all over the northern western US. We went to several different states, national parks. We camped out in our van. We drove for hours at a time. And we learned a lot through the process of how to do this type of traveling with babies and just in general with kids. We've done more of that since then, so we've learned more. But I'll show you just a little bit of what some of those videos looked like. If you haven't seen them, all of them are linked below. There's a whole playlist of our travels.
You blowed my reputation, but I figured it's not on me. Yeah. The way you're making me shiver, your hands on myself, I keep pulling the trigger. Right, this very finger for people like them. Oh no. Well, darling, on my mind, I'm feeling so fly up in the zone now. I'm like a golden crown, whirling high up in the sky. Oh, it's the way you make me feel so good. Around me like a borderline, our fortress in the jungle, baby, we're alright. But darling, on my mind, I'm feeling so fly up in the zone now. I'm like a golden crown, whirling high up in the sky. Oh, it's the way you make me feel so good, feel so good.
So yeah, with that, you can definitely tell that we love to travel and we have taught our babies how to travel very early on and we're so proud of them. They've done so well. But with that said, we've also, like I said, we've learned a lot along the way. So I'm going to give you now my top tips to help you with your travel planning so that you can have the best trip and family road trip ever. Tip number 1 is to have frequent stops. So especially if you're traveling with little ones that have a short attention span, it's really helpful to have frequent stops for whatever it needs to be, even if it's just literally pulling over at a random park and having the kids run around in a circle and then get back in the car. Seriously, it'll definitely help. Additionally, when we went and we had really small babies, it definitely was nice just to have a little breather, stretch our own legs, give them a little bit of sunlight, have a feeding snack time, just keep the energy up because we didn't want them to be napping all day long. long, it's so easy, especially with babies, for them to just like want to sleep the whole time you're in the car, but you don't want that because then they're not going to sleep during the night. So have frequent stops so that you can keep everybody entertained and keep everybody like positive, and then keep going. Like make your stops not last too long unless you're like having a nice long meal, which is totally fine too, but just something that definitely worked well for us. Tip number 2, make your itinerary in advance, but be flexible. So for us, when we did our month-long road trip, we had a huge itinerary. Literally, we outlined all the places that we wanted to go, and it was a major loop that took us ultimately 4 weeks to complete, and that was our plan. We were almost on schedule for the whole thing, but we were also flexible. So we did have some reservations at campsites in national parks and also some hotel reservations, but we also knew in the back of our head, like if we don't make it to those reservations, it's not the end of the world. Our family comes first, and being flexible is definitely important because we want everybody to be comfortable and happy. And we didn't know honestly how it was gonna go. Like we went in for our 4-week trip with our babies with the mindset that if this doesn't work out, literally if we only make it 1 week in and then we decide to come home, that's okay. It's not a big deal, but we did make it, and that was really amazing. And some of the things didn't quite go according to plan. We had planned to stay with some family members, and then they had like a sickness scare, and turns out that they were fine. They were totally fine, but you know, just out of caution, we ended up not staying with them, and then we ended up staying at a hotel and then spending more money than we anticipated to spend. So keep that in mind in your flexibility. Be flexible with what your budget is. Maybe if you can't be flexible, just try to save a little bit of extra as like a contingency fund that you might need to spend outside of your planned spending. And then, like I said, just as far as reservations go, try to know exactly when you want to be somewhere, but also have a little bit of flexibility if something doesn't work out. Now, you don't always need to have reservations. I mean, a lot of hotels you can book at the last second. Sometimes you even get the best deals that way. Sometimes you can even call hotels and like ask them if they have availability. You can ask them if they're running any deals, ask if they have AAA, because a lot of times if you're in the US especially, AAA can get you a really good discount at a lot of places. Surprisingly, it's really awesome. As far as campgrounds go, if you're camping while you're doing a road trip, a lot of these places do also take same-day reservations, but keep in mind that a lot of them are first come, first serve. So you definitely want to be able to get there in time to have a camp spot and not end up somewhere where it's dark and you cannot find a spot, because that's like the worst case scenario. We were so lucky and fortunate that we never had that case scenario during our entire 4 weeks, which is just incredible because there were a lot of campgrounds that were super crowded, and we would get there and ask, is there any availability? And they would say, well, you know, last time I saw, I didn't think there was any availability, but you're welcome to drive around and check. And so we would drive around, and sure enough, we found a spot, and then it was just like amazing. And so I prayed a little bit there too. I think that helped. Tip number 3, bring lots of snacks and activities for the whole family. So depending on your age of your kids, this is going to be definitely varying on what their interests are and what they like to eat. But for our babies, obviously they didn't have a lot that they needed as far as like toys. They just had a couple of like little rattles, and that was really simple. But we did have to bring a lot in the way of like changing them, and we had to have like a whole diaper changing setup in our van. And then of course, when it came time to sleep, we had their baby bassinets. So we had a lot of other things that we had to bring for them because they're babies versus older kids. They might need electronics, they might want snacks throughout the drive, they might also just need to have music or something that you can all do interactively together, like pick some games that work out. Like if you can just look up games to play on road trips, you will definitely find tons, and there are so many that are so easy and applicable to multiple age groups that are easy for everybody to play. You can also listen to audiobooks in the car. You can have a movie going in the car and for the kids in the back or something like that. There are so many different things, like I said, that can keep everybody occupied or keep everybody doing something that's interactive together and have family conversations. I mean, honestly, sometimes I feel like my best family conversations are when my husband and I are in the car on a long drive. We have like deep conversations, and it's awesome. It's like, why don't we have these conversations when we're just hanging out in the living room at our house? I have no idea, but you know what? Sometimes like the amazing conversations strike when you're just randomly out somewhere and you're thinking about something new. And I think a lot of it too is just simply taking a step back from all the stress and things that are happening at home and getting out and being somewhere new. I mean, once you're on the road, it's like you're mentally on vacation, and I think it just changes your mindset a little bit, so you're a little bit more chill and you can think about things that you don't usually take the time to really think about, or relax when you don't usually have time to relax. I know that's how I feel when I travel. My next tip is pack light. It's so easy to overpack anytime you go on a trip, honestly. There are so many times that I've gone places and brought twice as many things as I needed, or just simply packed things that I definitely never used. But if you pack light, like really limit yourself. Honestly, if you can pack and then take things out and put only back into the bag what you absolutely know you're gonna use. And then furthermore, you might not even need to pack an outfit for every single day. If you're gone for more than about 5 days, you can usually stop at a hotel and actually use their laundry facilities. Sometimes they're free and sometimes they're just like quarter machines, but most hotels do have laundry facilities that you can use, and that has worked out really well for us when we were traveling. Or if you're going to visit family, then of course they're going to let you use their laundry machine as well. You can even go to a laundromat. There are so many different options for that. All I'm saying is you've got options, and you definitely don't need to overpack, because like I said, it's just really gonna help a lot more to save on space and only have the essentials. My next tip is pack layers. So not everybody is gonna be comfortable with the exact same temperature in the car. So whenever you're doing a long drive, it's really good to pack layers. And this is just like long sleeve shirt or a short sleeve shirt with a jacket. You know, it's like different things that you can easily remove if you're too warm but somebody else is cold. I don't know why. It's like when I'm in a car with my family, I feel like all of us always have our different like core temperatures for some reason. One of us will be warm and one of us will be cold, and then we'll switch, and it's like always something funny like that. Or, you know, you can always roll down the window if you're too warm, but then the other people might not want that. All I'm saying is if everybody has like an extra layer, then it'll be very easy for everybody to be comfortable. And, you know, even if the kids in the back want to have a blanket or something, I mean, it's like so many options. My next tip is more relevant to the current times. If you're traveling in 2021 or anytime during the pandemic, I feel like a lot of people have this misconception that it's not going to be as crowded at national parks as normal, but unfortunately that is not the case. It is in fact more crowded than ever before. I think it's because a lot of people still are not flying, and therefore they're doing road trips as an alternative, and maybe that's the case while you're looking into doing a road trip, but keep in mind it could still be super busy. And you definitely want to look into all the different state laws as far as requirements for mask mandates and what the capacity limits are at different places, because you might have a longer wait time going to restaurants if they have a capacity limit, or if you're trying to just, again, like go into some exhibit at a national park, you might have to wait in a long line of cars. And again, this is where it comes in handy to have things that you can do as a family in the car to keep you entertained. Then my very last tip is the most obvious one, but one that I feel like is necessary to leave as a reminder. And this is to have everybody in your family, even all the little kiddos, use the restroom before getting in the car for any type of long drive, because you don't want to have the one person that needs to go and then the whole family has to wait. And I mean, this will happen. This absolutely is like guaranteed almost to happen, that somebody's going to need to go and everybody else is going to be like, really? You know, especially if you have a big family, that's just like, you know, it's going to happen. But you can limit that if you make it something that you ask everybody to do right before you leave, and it will just definitely help you out in the sake of saving time and being stress-free. So anyways, I hope that some of these tips were helpful. If they were, definitely feel free to give me a like below and subscribe to my channel. And I've got a whole playlist, like I said, of travel videos and vlogs from when we traveled in our van for 4 weeks with our twin babies when they were just so little, and lots of tips that you can see in those videos, as well as all of our tips from flying and traveling with them internationally as well during their first year. So let me know what other videos you'd like to see, and I hope that this was helpful. Again, I wish that you have the best travels and best road trip ever, and thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Have a great day. Bye.